What's up, everybody? Mike here, and boy, oh boy, did we get some great, awesome new details, gameplay details specifically regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows. There's also a bunch of other games I got to go into and do more in-depth videos on, so stay tuned. A lot to cover, so be patient with me as I get all this information out when regarding other games like Dragon Age, The Veilguard, Monster Hunter Wilds, new details, Phantom Blade Zero, and more, guys. And we're still under 2 weeks away from Shot Urtry, and I got some stuff for that as well. So yeah, but this video I'm gonna try and be concise with it, try to keep it 10 minutes, brief here, because there's a lot to go over. Let's jump into it. So some major big new details regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows here, starting with the setting. Assassin's Creed Shadows takes place in Azuchi Momoyama period of Japanese history. The story begins in 1579 and will continue into the early 1580s. A time period means this is the first game in a series to feature the Assassins and Templars in their classic form since 2015's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So there's a number of historical figures playing a prominent role in the campaign as well. This includes Oda Nobunaga, the great unifier of Japan, and Fujibayashi Nagato, a master ninja of the Aiga clan. Much like Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Shadows features two protagonists, and you can switch between them as you play through the campaign. The first of these dual leads is Naoi, the fictional daughter of Fujibayashi Nagato. She is trained by her father to be a skilled shinobi. The second protagonist is Yasuke, a real historical figure originally from Africa. Yasuke came to Japan with the Portuguese in 1579 and soon became a samurai in the employ of Lord Oda Nobunaga. Shadows is the first Assassin's Creed game to ever let you play as a real person from the past. Then the stealth and parkour elements of the game here. So, as the title suggests, light and dark is a major part of Assassin's Creed Shadows' stealth systems. A new global illumination system creates dynamic light and shadows that affect enemy vision. You can now hide in the shadows and even create darkness by destroying lanterns or killing torch carriers. A light meter on the UI shows how well concealed you are, from fully visible to completely hidden. Servants are a new type of NPC, ranking between civilians and enemies. While they cannot fight, they are able to call in reinforcements and alarms. They have their own patrol routes and carry lanterns at night. You see this in the gameplay footage as well too, where they show off Naoi essentially knocking out one of these servants instead of killing the servant. And I feel like that adds another layer to the dynamic and strategy of what you're going to do when it comes to these missions in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Naoi is an assassin who also is going to wield the iconic hidden blade, much like the version used in Assassin's Creed 3. Hers is a pivot blade, which rotates 90 degrees to be used like a tanto. While Assassin's Creed Shadows is another RPG-style game, Ubisoft seems to have learned its lesson about hidden blade assassinations not being instant kills. In the gameplay demonstration, we can see it being used multiple times to kill in one stab, regardless of the target. Naoi can even be seen assassinating a fully armored target with ease. So I'm very happy about this, where it's not like in the previous open world RPG games where, if you're not built up enough, you're not going to essentially kill the target with just one hidden blade, like essentially attack. Glad they learned a lesson from this. Is essentially, yeah, it should be a one hit, one death type of move, especially if you're just going to like stab them in the neck or the head or somewhere that's vital, basically. Another cool thing that was shown off in the gameplay demonstrations, enemies can be assassinated through shoji screen doors. This makes a lot of sense. They're also kind of taking some element from Ghost of Tsushima here, because I believe in that game you could do that as well. There is now the option to knock out foes when performing a stealth takedown, allowing for a more passive playthrough, which I kind of touched on earlier, where in the gameplay showcase, they had Naoi essentially take out one of the servants, but knocking them out instead of killing them. Another cool thing, too, is you can now crawl along the ground in a prone position instead of just being crouched. This allows you to maintain a lower profile as well as get through small openings. And then when swimming underwater, Naoi can use a bamboo stick as a snorkel to refill her lungs with oxygen. Naoi has a grappling hook that can be attached to every roof edge, as well as a number of other anchor points. So you can kind of get your Batman on with this a little bit. Unlike the zipline grappling hook from Assassin's Creed Syndicate, this rope uses physics simulation to allow dynamic swinging. The grappling hook can be used to quickly climb into the ceiling space above corridors, allowing you to lay in wait for enemies patrolling beneath you, which I find very, very cool to do, and honestly was hoping this would be in here as a gameplay mechanic. It can be used to launch Naoe at targets and trigger an instant assassination. Eagle vision returns, allowing you to spot silhouettes of NPCs through walls. Enemies are marked in red, while the new servants are colored orange. A drone-like bird used in Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla to scout out areas and mark targets is not available in Shadows. You'll need to do your own reconnaissance work. Honestly, I like the change. I know some people are not gonna like this, but hey, I'm cool with it. As a shinobi, Naoe is the most skilled at stealth. Yasuke can use stealth, but his size and armor plating means he's better at using those skills to get the drop on targets rather than performing fully silent infiltration. Then when it comes to combat RPG systems here, this era of Japanese warfare did not make use of shields, so your gear does not include any defensive options aside from your armor. Dodges and positioning is paramount. As a samurai, Yasuke is able to use his weapon to block incoming attacks and perform parries. Naoe is able to engage in combat, but she is unable to block or parry. Instead, she can deflect enemy blows. Ubisoft hasn't yet clarified the difference between parries and deflects, but it may be that parries enable counterattacks while deflects do not. Seemingly following in the footsteps of Ghost of Tsushima, there appears to be a combat stance system. Yasuke can adjust the position of his weapon in response to an enemy's stance. It seems likely that a rock, paper, scissors-like structure may exist, in which certain positions are stronger or weaker against an enemy's chosen stance. I know in this report they're talking about it's referencing Ghost of Tsushima here, but honestly, this could be also something they're taking originally from For Honor, because For Honor is a game where you gotta do different stances against enemy players and that in AI. So I'm thinking more maybe it's something like that, because they've already technically done that in For Honor. And For Honor came out before Ghost of Tsushima. Yasuke can lock blades with an enemy, which triggers a cinematic battle of strength. It's unclear from the gameplay video how this works, but it's likely that this is a quick time event. Killing enemies can trigger a variety of brutal finisher animations. More elaborate finishes are reserved for assassinating targets, which use a painting-like filter to transform the scene into a vivid cinematic moment. I love this. I love this touch that they add in. Enemy armor has a durability system and can be broken during combat. Pretty much every prop in the game is able to be dynamically damaged by your weapons. Katanas will slice through bushes and baskets fruit ninja style, leaving accurate blade marks. Our arrows will leave precise puncture marks, while blunt weapons will smash pots into tiny pieces. Many period accurate weapons are available to use, including katanas, the Kenobo War Club, Yari Spears, Shuriken, Kunai, and the Kosuragama, a sickle on a chain. Yasuke is able to use his arquebus rifles, I'm probably saying that wrong, providing him with a powerful long-range option. Each weapon has its own skill tree. Investing time into using a particular weapon will improve your proficiency with it. I like this because this means we're going to have maybe severely less loot overall. Weapons and gear are going to be more meaningful this time around, even more so probably than they were in Valhalla. You can draft your own katana from gathered components and personalize it. A transmog system will allow you to tailor your gear to look exactly how you want it. Love that they're having this transmog in there. Active combat skills return and are unlocked by finding ninja scrolls in the world. Fantastic. Yasuke and Naoe have individual skill trees and gear, but share XP, collect weapons, and resources. And now it's time for Dynamic World and Seasons, getting into the nitty-gritty with this stuff. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows is built upon a newly updated version of the Anvil game engine. The new tech allows for better lighting through global illumination, the new breakable props, more detailed asset meshes, and much less pop-in. The new Anvil upgrade has allowed for a season system that sees the world progress through spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The current season is dictated by your progress through the campaign in order to maintain historical accuracy. But there are steps that each period goes through to create a sense of authenticity. Each season comes with unique features that link to gameplay. For example, in the spring and summer, when plants bloom and flower, there will be bushes and long grass to hide in. Later in autumn and winter, those plants will die and thus remove hiding spots. Water also freezes in winter, which prevents you from entering pools and ponds. Icicles will form on rooftop edges and can fall if disturbed, potentially giving away your position. Seasons also affect NPC behaviors. In the summer, enemy samurai cut through bushes in search of you. In the winter, foes stay close to fires and warm places, potentially open up new, colder paths for you to take. A fully dynamic weather system provides appropriate climate changes and conditions based on both the region and season. Severe weather, like deep fog, howling winds, and snow impacts enemies' sight and sound. A storm is an opportunity to mask your footsteps. The world features a surprisingly detailed ecosystem. In spring, for instance, wind will blow gusts of pollen that have been spawned by trees, replicating a real ecosystem. The map is similar in size to that featured in the Assassin's Creed Origins and replicates the central region of Japan. The map is divided into regions based on Japan's real historical provinces, including Aiga, home of the Shinobi, Erima, the location of a major battle, and Omni, an agricultural breadbasket region. The iconic synchronization points return, but in a reimagined way. Climbing to the top no longer plots a multitude of icons on your map, nor does it trigger the spinning drone shot of the area. Instead, from this vantage point, you'll be able to survey the area for highlighted points of interest, which you can then seek out when back on the ground. Ubisoft expressed a wish for there to be less icons this time around, and so this appears to be one way of fulfilling that. Thankfully, despite this slight change, synchronization points still act as a fast travel location. Shadows is set during a time of flourishing urbanization, trade, and warfare. This allows for a wide range of locations, including towns, trading posts, farmland, and colossal castles that have been rendered at near one-to-one scale. Beyond these settled areas are mountains and forests. And then the last big major detail elements here, assassinations and quests. Shadows features a non-linear campaign largely focused on targets. Ubisoft says that you will be free to track these targets in any order. Some targets simply exist in the world and you may stumble upon them organically without having researched or hunted them first. Others have more structured infiltration style gameplay attached to them. Ubisoft aims to create a more rewarding journey by being a little more hands-off. While the campaign is still objective focused, the studio hopes to enable more player autonomy by using hints to push players in the right direction rather than outright telling them where to go next. I love this because honestly, it definitely makes the game feel more organic when you do that, feel more natural. A great example of this is like Elden Ring in a way, where it sort of hints the general direction of where to go in the open world, but you're still free to explore and do pretty much anything you want for the most part within the confines of the game itself and the world, things like that. You know, you can go to areas you're not ready for yet and get your butt kicked, or even get an item there that you know, early, things like that. So this seems like they're maybe doing something kind of similar, less hand-holdy overall, which is good, you know, but still obviously have the main objectives be on the map, or at least general direction. Most main quests can be completed as either Yasuke or Naoe, aligned for freedom of approach. However, both characters have their own specific missions playable only by them. This reminds me of how they did Spider-Man 2, not necessarily Ubisoft, but you know, Marvel Spider-Man 2 was like this in a sense where Miles had his specific missions, Peter had his. So it seems like they're doing that here as well. Side quests and world activities are available beyond the main campaign. Notable things to find in the world include castles, temples, shrines, and art. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's world, it was dotted with adorable cats that you could find and pet. Shadows brings animal petting back, but replaces cats with the obvious Japanese alternative, Shiba Inus, basically dogs. You can build up a spy network with agents who can be sent on missions to gather intelligence on your targets. And there's a hideout where you and your allies can gather. So this is amazing, incredible ton of details here. I may have went a little bit over my intended plan, making this roughly 10 minutes, but there was a lot to dig into here, guys. And hopefully this excites you more, helps give you better understanding about the game, mechanics, the world, stuff like that, what they're doing with this game. And honestly, this has made me more hyped for the game itself. I love Assassin's Creed as a franchise, my favorite one from Ubisoft, and I want them to do better with this game. I want them to improve, learn from mistakes, you know, definitely have it be more focused, less hand-holding, which is what they're kind of doing here. And overall, just have it be more fun. Have it be more fun, you know, give us some more stuff to mess around with and allow us to have like a variety of builds too for each character. So hopefully this will allow that, and the transmog being added in is super awesome. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this, would appreciate a thumbs up on the video as well. Subscribe if you're new, and hit that bell for notifications, since I still got a lot more other videos going up regarding games announced and games updated when it comes to the crazy events that happened over the past 3 or 4 days with E3, but not E3 stuff. So stay tuned for that. My name's Mike. Thanks for watching.